So finally, after years of waiting, the Tron Ares trailer is actually here. I'm still shocked to say that. And man, it did not disappoint. It almost feels like we've been waiting over a decade for this trailer. Oh wait, we have. But anyways, today I will be giving you guys my trailer breakdown for the Tron Ares trailer, just so you can see anything you might have missed and the direction this film may be going. So right off the bat, we start with this overhead city shot, which is absolutely beautiful in my opinion. And during this, we can actually hear some chatter on a police scanner about two speeding motorcycles, which are of course actually light cycles. And from there, we see the brand new light cycles, which look absolutely amazing. Of course, these are much different from what we see in Tron Legacy, and I'm okay with that because we have to remember that these are vehicles from the Dillinger grid, not Kevin Flynn's grid. And in case it wasn't badass enough with having light cycles in the real world, one of the light cycles actually cuts a police car in half. And this is what gives Tron Ares so much potential as a film. The fact that you can have grid vehicles and weapons interact with real world technology is just so cool. And right after this, we continue on with Greta Lee's Eve Kim just looking up at this giant recognizer peeking out from this building, and it's so ominous, I love it. Here we also get a quick look at Gillian Anderson's character. And it seems like this recognizer is also passing right by Encom Tower, since on this monitor here you can actually see the Encom logo just backwards. And then that same recognizer can be seen just chasing Eve Kim with the spotlight shining on her, and that shot is just, damn, chef's kiss right there. And for the first time in this trailer, we get a look at what I believe to be the Dillinger grid. And I mean, this looks fantastic. It reminds me of the Solar Sailor Station in Tron Legacy, where Clue repurposed all of the programs. And honestly, I think this actually could be a cargo station for a Solar Sailor of the Dillinger grid. There's also some sort of flying vehicles near the cargo bay, but you can't really tell what they are exactly. And here we have a brand new vehicle that I'm just going to call the Light Ski because I don't believe it has an official name yet. And it's cool that we're actually getting a water vehicle for a change because there's not usually any water vehicles in the Tron franchise. The last time I actually remember seeing a water vehicle was in Tron Uprising. There is actually two people on this Light Ski, and I believe that is Ares and Eve Kim. Here we see some light drones going over towards this blue beacon in the sky, which is kind of cool. I'm wondering if this beacon is actually the portal to the real world, because we saw something similar in Tron Legacy when Sam and Cora went from the grid to the real world. There's also these new weapons that are shown, and they look pretty crazy. It's pretty much a staff with a light trail on it, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to work because there are so many possibilities for how you could use that weapon. And there's a look at Julian Dillinger just looking at the chaos unfold that he has caused. The vehicle featured here we actually already know a little bit about. This is the Dart. We know this because Welcome Running actually posted the name of the vehicle on Instagram a couple months back, and for what it looks like, it kind of reminds me of just a recognizer but a ground vehicle version of it. And I mean, of course, showcased in the trailer, it's a good way to just ram through walls and vehicles and stuff. The black guards also make a return in Tron Ares, and one of the guards here is also played by Jodie Turner-Smith. Her character name is actually Athena, and I believe she is second in command of the Dillinger Grid army. Moving on, we have some fighter jets shooting missiles at a giant recognizer. This is exactly what we need. The fact that this film is pretty much just a war between humans and programs is so cool. And then of course the light drones that we saw earlier actually fly in and destroy the missile. I think one of the things I'm most interested in for Tron Ares is the reactions of the civilians, because we gotta remember, Space Paranoids, Tron, and other games exist in this universe. So some of the civilians might actually recognize the recognizers, see what I did there, from Space Paranoids in 1982. And it also could be argued that Space Paranoids is an older game from 1982, so some civilians might not recognize the fact that they look similar because of how futuristic these recognizers look. But if you remember, just under a year ago, we actually had a giant banner of the different Space Paranoids games in the Tron universe, and this was in the Encom Tower interior set. But this just means there have been many more Space Paranoids games since 1982, and that there's a higher likelihood of someone recognizing these vehicles. And if these vehicles are recognized from Space Paranoids, how would that affect Encom? They could actually be blamed for all this when it's actually the fault of Dillinger Systems. Moving on, here we have what looks to be like Ares being de-digitized into the real world, and this is further proven when he actually opens his eye right there. And we get one more look at him, and he looks a little bit battle damaged actually, because we can see some of his lights flickering, and some of his armor has been chipped off. And lastly, this is my favorite shot of the entire trailer. Here we have Eve Kim staring up at a damaged recognizer with the Encom Tower in the background. That is an epic shot. I love it so much. And it's just so poetic how a Dillinger recognizer is crashing and burning right in front of Encom Tower. The cinematography for Tron Ares is just out of this world. And to top this trailer off, the entire music that was used for the trailer is actually from the score of Tron Ares. Sadly, I can't play it here because of copyright, but I highly recommend checking it out. But based on what we can hear in the trailer, I am really happy that they chose 9 Inch Nails for the soundtrack of Tron Ares because it sounds a lot more aggressive. And I think this truly fits the tone of Tron Ares because Tron Ares is supposed to be a bit more edgy and gritty compared to Tron Legacy and Tron 1982. And even though Daft Punk left some pretty big shoes to fill with the score of Tron Legacy, after hearing the music in the trailer, I think that 9 Inch Nails is a perfect choice for this film. Other than the trailer, we also did receive a Tron Ares poster today, and it is beautiful. Who gave Ares the permission to aura farm? Seriously. And I love how you can just see the color red coming behind Ares and just almost infecting the real world. It looks awesome. Anyways, that's the trailer and poster for Tron Ares. All I gotta say is that my expectations for this film were blown out of the water. I am so much more excited for this movie now, and I know many of you guys are too, but I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this trailer? Are you more or less excited? Please let me know down in the comments. But that's all from me today. End of line.